All right, party goers, before we wrap up 2024, we had to do an episode on two absolute bangers. Ooh, excuse me. All right, party goers, before we wrap up 2024, we had to do an episode or two on two incredible bangers from two of hip hop's pioneers that came out in the last 2 months. Missionary by Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, and of course, Muddy Waters 2 by Redman, one of my favorites, one of the greatest of all time. And I got to tell you, whether you're an old school fan like myself or new school, these two albums are master classes on just lyrics as well as beats and hip hop. So let's start off with Missionary. This is the 12th studio album from Snoop Dogg, completely produced by Dr. Dre. It's really considered a sequel to Doggy Style, hence Missionary. When Snoop Dogg was asked why Missionary, he was like, "Well, the first album was called Doggy Style, and this one's called Missionary." So hey, don't need to go too deep into it. I like it. There's guest appearances by Eminem, 50 Cent, Method Man, Jelly Roll, BJ the Chicago Kid, and many more. It is the 30th anniversary this year of Doggy Style, which is absolutely insane to comprehend. So perfect timing on it. They've been working on it for a couple years, and it's got a lot of bangers on there. Some of my favorite tracks are Shangri La, Out of the Blue with Dre and Pius, I believe it is. Hard Knocks. Gorgeous is a really fun one. It's got like that doggy dog world, ain't no fun if the homies can't have none kind of vibe to it from the Doggy Style album. Last Dance with Mary Jane is a great one with a nice little sample from Tom Petty and, the hook with Jelly Roll, who is, rapidly becoming one of my favorite guys to, bring a hook onto when it comes to albums. Thank You is a great one. Pressure's great. Now or Never. Gang Suppose is phenomenal. There's a couple that have really great artists on it, but I feel like the beat could have been a little bit better. First off, Skyscrapers with Method Man and Smitty. It's all right. It's definitely not one of my favorite tracks, even though it's got one of my favorite rappers on there. The beat leaves a little bit to be desired on that one. And Guns and Smoke with 50 Cent and Eminem. The lyricism's definitely there. Lyrically, the whole album's fantastic. I mean, at the end of the day, you have one of the best rappers of all time. I mean, really, if you think about it, Snoop Dogg is our country's like unofficial, very, very cool uncle. I mean, he was all over the place in the Olympics. I feel like he's in every other commercial out there. So, at the end of the day, it's still good to see him go back to his roots and still coming out with a banger. I mean, this is one of my favorite Snoop Dogg albums after Doggy Style. And it's great to, see that chemistry and him and Dre in the studio again, giving off that Doggy Style vibe. So great album. I would definitely say 4 out of 5 stars. At the end of the day, I would have loved to have seen the Dog Pound. That did kind of surprise me not seeing Corrupt and Daz on there, as well as RBX. Now that Snoop owns Death Row Records, it was I don't want to say shocking, but I was definitely surprised not to at least see Corrupt and Daz on one or two of the tracks on there. But again, great album. Be sure to check it out if you haven't already. And, especially for whether if you're an old school hip hop head or you just love just hip hop with people that can actually rap and not just mumbling all over nonsense over and over again. Missionary is definitely a go to, and definitely glad it came out. Second album, as I mentioned earlier, it's no surprise that Redman is one of my favorite rappers of all time. If you go back to, I think, our second season, we have an episode where we talk about some of our favorite rappers of all time, and Redman is number one to me. He's just lyrically talented. He's funny. He's entertaining. The videos are great. I mean, he literally checks everything off. So the first Muddy Waters album came out December 10th of 1996. And here we are 28 years later with Muddy Waters 2, his ninth solo album. And this is honestly, in my opinion, his best album since Malpractice, which came out in 2001. If we were talking like physical copies here, this could easily be a double disc with 32 tracks on it. And it comes in at about an hour and 20 minutes with features from Method Man, KROS-One, Queen Latifah, Snoop Dogg, and many, many others. So it's great to see, him continue the skits. There are a lot of skits in there. So really at the end of the day, that I think there's like 27, 28 actual tracks with skits mixed in. Any true Redman fan knows his skits are phenomenal, going all the way back to What the Album, and then over the years, the stick up skits, the Superman Lover, everything else. And it's great to see he has not diverted from that, because a lot of the times, yes, I love the music, but I also enjoy the skits, which employs more of that comedy aspect for what he's known for. So, the whole DJ say what, and his radio moniker, WKYA, we're kicking your ass radio, the Uncle Quilly skits, and of course one of his most famous skits, and I believe he did the first one on the Muddy Waters album. He might have done it on There's a Dark Side. I have to double check that. But is the stick up skit where he's sticking up different things, everything from a bus to a television studio. And this one, instead of him doing it, he actually has Barack Obama doing the stick up. Great skit. Some of the top tracks on there. There are a lot of bangers. The Fuck Going On, What's Hot, Jersey, La 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 with Method Man is great. Don't You Miss. Hood Star is a really fun track. It gives you, kind of skating rink vibes. And that one's with Faith Evans as well as Kid Capri. Don't Want to See Me Rich is definitely a banger. I'm on That Bullshit, which is now his newest video, is great. Kush with Snoop is a really fun track. I really, really, really love 10 O'Clock. It's kind of like a modern day Time for Some Action. And it even starts off with the Time for Some Action, not beat or anything, just as far as like the intro. And it's definitely, I don't even want to say it's definitely my favorite track on the album, 10 O'Clock. Light It Up is a great New Jersey all-star tribute. If you don't know, he's from Brick City, aka Newark, New Jersey, and he's got Shaq on here. Yes, Shaq was also a rapper. For those of you that may not know, he came out with Shaq Fu the Return. And, let's face it, he's not the greatest rapper of all time, but to be honest with you, I put him up against half the new rappers out right now. He crushes it on the track. And then it's also got Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, Lords of the Underground, which a lot of people may not know. Redman started off as a DJ for Lords of the Underground. It's got Leaders of the New School, Busta Rhymes' old squad that he ran with before he went solo, Raw Digga, Lady Luck, and many others. And it's also got that Rapper's Delight sample in there. Super, super dope track. I'd probably say it's definitely in my top 3. Why You Mad is great. Superman Love of 7. Yeah, it's crazy to think that we're already at Superman Love of 7. Phenomenal. And then Looka Here is great. So again, 2 just straight bangers. If you're an old school hip hop head like myself, you're gonna love. If you're an old school hip hop head like myself, you're gonna love it. If you're more new school, if you're more new school, it's fine. But I'm gonna tell you now, if you want a master class on lyricism, beats, as well as just overall production and just 2 solid hip hop albums, be sure to check them out. A lot of people have tried to shit on Missionary because it didn't have that many in sales. Whatever. At the end of the day, it's a banger. It's a classic. Muddy Waters 2 is what you would want from a sequel, especially this many years later, and it actually lives up to the billing. So as a hip hop fan, I couldn't be happier. Snoop, Redman, thank you so much for dropping these albums, and hopefully more to come in 2025. As always, be sure to check us out on YouTube, Zero Dark Nerdy, as well as all social media outlets, Zero Dark Nerdy. Thank you for the love and support, and we look forward to giving you more fun episodes, more content, more videos, more of everything in 2025. God bless you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Peace.